Hi, this is Father Paul Turner from the Diocese of Kansas City, St. Joseph in Missouri, and I'm speaking to you about one of the questions that comes up from time to time on my blog at paulturner.org. This one has to do with proper solemnities of the title of the church and the anniversary of the dedication of the church. In the table of liturgical days, which you can find near the front of the Roman Missal, these solemnities rank at number 4, which is really very high on that table. And as you can imagine, they change from one parish to another. So it is important for every parish to know the anniversary of the dedication of the church and the day on the calendar when the title of the church at the time of its dedication is honored. So let's start with the dedication because it actually ranks a little bit higher. Whenever the church dedication took place, that date is honored every year as a solemnity on the parish calendar. That means that it takes over any other Mass unless it happens to fall on the same day that the table of liturgical days lists numbers 1, 2, or 3. It takes over the calendar, so the prayers that the priest uses for the Mass are taken from the anniversary of the dedication of the church in the back of the Missal. The readings from the lectionary come from that section of the lectionary, found in volume 4 here in the United States. So the anniversary of the dedication is an important day liturgically. 3 scripture readings, the Gloria, the Creed, are all included whenever we celebrate a solemnity like that. Now, some parishes don't have a record of the day of their dedication. So in that case, it may be done just before All Saints' Day each year, usually on the Sunday before All Saints or the day before All Saints, as a kind of a catch-all day for those churches that are so old that the dedication date has been lost in the mists of time. But for the rest of us, it's pretty important. Now, one thing to keep in mind too, if you're ever responsible for setting the date of a parish church dedication and a dedication of a new church, know that whatever day you pick, the anniversary is going to rank at number 4 on the table of liturgical days. So it may actually bump something else off the calendar. If you have a memorial or a feast, someday that you think might be appropriate for it, it's going to cause a collision, if you will, on that particular day. I know of some instances, for example, where in the Hispanic community, some people thought that it would be great to celebrate the dedication of a new church on Our Lady of Guadalupe. Well, she is a feast day in the United States, which means that the anniversary of the dedication as a solemnity would actually bump Our Lady of Guadalupe off the calendar, and nobody would want to do that, especially in the Hispanic community. So it's just something to keep in mind when the date of the anniversary of the church is being set. You'll also notice that in a ritual book like the Order of Celebrating Matrimony, this anniversary celebration actually ranks ahead of the ritual Mass of marriage. You can do a wedding on a day that happens to fall on the calendar as the anniversary day of the dedication of that church. But if so, the readings are supposed to come from the anniversary. The presidential prayers are supposed to come from the anniversary. So it's a very significant day in the life of the parish that the church is very anxious to have people celebrate in an appropriate way. Then the other proper solemnity has to do with the title under which the church was dedicated. Now, some of these are already on the liturgical calendar. Holy Trinity Catholic Church, Assumption of Mary Catholic Church, Nativity of the Lord Catholic Church. I mean, any of these already have a solemnity on the calendar, and they don't need an extra one to come in. Everyone celebrates them as solemnities. But for other days, the saint, for example, who might appear as a memorial or an optional memorial suddenly gets brought up to something more substantial. In my own diocese, for example, I served for a while at a church named for the patron saint of Limerick, Ireland, St. Munchen. So in that church, January 2nd becomes an annual observance as a solemnity, even though very few people in the diocese or around the world have even heard of St. Munchen outside of Limerick, Ireland. So these are days that suddenly rank very high. Something else that has happened within the last several decades, especially, is that when demographics shift in a diocese, some parishes have been closed, some have been merged, some churches are known by a different name. So here in my own diocese, for example, we have a church that was dedicated under the title of St. Augustine, but is currently being used by our Vietnamese Catholic community as the Church of the Holy Martyrs. So it's known as Holy Martyrs Parish, but because the church was dedicated under the patronage of St. Augustine, that title sticks forever connected to that building. So that means on August 28th every year, it is a solemnity there, even though many people may have forgotten that it was actually dedicated under his name. So those are some of the interesting things about these particular proper solemnities. They are key on the liturgical calendar, and very important for each parish to know what each of those proper solemnities are. What's the anniversary of the dedication date and the day associated with the title of the church? They are solemnities.